Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video looking at the ECMWF solar model for the USA for today's second video. So this is your 6 weeks USA forecast, and I shall get on with it for you in a moment. Just say that first video, say for 6 a.m. upload, and I've got the GMA seasonal model update coming up here a little bit later on, taking us from April through to June for the UK and Ireland. We're going to be live streaming our 10 to 14 day at 6 p.m. That will be the penultimate live stream on a Wednesday, penultimate Wednesday live stream coming up for you at 6 p.m. this evening. Whoa, I don't know. So I should see you live for that one. Please like, subscribe to the video. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Thank you so much to ECMWF.it for supplying the charts as well. And with all that said, I think we're going to right, so we're going to start off with the week 1 500 millibar high only for the United States, for North America, taking us from the 20th, 27th of March, this week. That's this week. Not the coming week, that's this week. With a trough of below average heights in the North and West Europe, where it's been throughout the winter. It's back again this week. Jetson Core going through a little bit like that. We've got this omnipresent ridge in the east and the south east Europe. That's the reason the eastern parts of America have had a very mild winter, and that's still there as well. So between the trough and the ridge, we're combining the two to bring up wind from the Gulf across the Gulf of Mexico, across the eastern part of Europe. Right, so this is our temperature anomaly set up for this week. Cold is where we've got the trough in the west and in the northwest. So once again, it's from the Pacific through to the Rocky Mountains, and of course these are anomalies to average. So the core of the colder temperature anomalies to average, just there and up there, where we're going around 10 degrees below average. Bear in mind, of course, it is getting ever, on into the summer season for the western southwest part of America, so it will still be pretty warm in this southwestern corner, but cooler than average. Over in the east, it's milder than average once again through the eastern seaboard up to the Great Lakes, into the Midwest, generally seeing those temperatures above average. So it's a little bit cooler down here in the far southern part of America, southeastern part of the states. Precipitation-wise, look like this, so varying from state to state, but wettest again from the Rockies back to the Pacific coast, and then dry. We've got that ridge in the southeast and through the eastern seaboard as well. Of course, wet through the Midwest, through here, and extending up towards the Great Lakes as well, and then in between, a little bit on the drier side through there. Excuse me, everyone. Right, go to week 2. Which will be the 27th of March to the 3rd of April. Let's have a look. So the ridge is being flattened off. It's still there in the far south and southeast, but it's being flattened a little bit by this low pressure coming in from the Pacific to the Atlantic coast. So, bring the jet stream through a little bit like that across the central and northern parts of America. So week 2 temperature anomaly cools through the eastern and northeastern states. The core of the below average temperature still out west from the Pacific coast to the Rockies and up here through the central northern states. But notice into the Midwest and even up to the northeast, up the east coast, it is turning a little bit cold average, a bit milder than average, warmer than average temperature. No one's being squeezed right way down to extreme south and southeast corner along the Gulf Coast into Florida, into this Atlantic southeastern corner like North Carolina, South Carolina, for example. But north and west, generally most parts of the states are actually turning cooler again next week, or colder. Precipitation-wise, it looks like that. So it's wet towards the Pacific coast. And a little bit unsettled towards the east and the northeast as well. If you think that might be a little bit wintry. In between, though, going to be lots of dry weather through the central parts of America, particularly through like the Rockies and northwards and whatnot into the west and Midwest, generally looking drier than average through there. Okay, week 3 will be the 3rd to the 10th of April. This is it. So we get some low pressure then setting up to our east and our northeast. Could be a little bit of a ridge starting to appear out west, I wonder. Let's put in a question mark. That looks a little bit different to what we've had throughout most of this winter and spring season so far. Coast to coast, cold average temperature anomalies as we're going into April here. Delayed spring. Goodness gracious me, right way from the Pacific coast all the way to the eastern seaboard of the Atlantic coast and all points in between with below average temperatures there. Goodness gracious, we haven't seen that for a little while, have we? Coast to coast, cold average temperature just as far as the southern tip of Florida. Zero temperature is holding up, but otherwise it's either below average or average. I've got quite a cold start to April there. Precipitation-wise, weakening signal, but looks drier out west, maybe indicating a bit of a ridge starting to get going in the west of America rather than a trough as we have through most of the season. And again, down in the extreme southern southeastern corner, looks a bit wetter, otherwise there's not much of a signal. Right, week 4 will be the 10th to 17th of April. How's that one looking? So a ridge then starting to appear through northern parts of America and into the Midwest as well. What are the temperatures doing? So we're losing the signal here. It's still looking rather on the cold side in the far north and west though. Through those areas, maybe going a little bit milder around the Great Lakes and towards the far eastern part of America. So a bit of a recovering temperature might be starting to take place there in the 4th week, but it is a long way out and the signal is pretty weak. Precipitation-wise, it's a bit wetter down towards Texas, for example, drier up to the north, but again, quite a weak signal. So that's more of a mysterious week. Week 5, the 17th, 24th of April, very mysterious. Now, let's put in a question mark. Across the states, and we'll see what the temperature anomaly is looking like, shall we? Again, looking a little bit cooler or below average through the west and north, and maybe beginning to get a bit warmer across those eastern states. Again, though, it is a weak signal. Precipitation. We can look at that. Here we go. So, drier to the west, maybe a little bit wetter to the east, a very weak signal. And then lastly, week 6, the 24th of April to 1st of May, here we go. And again, very weak signals. Let's put in 2, 3 question marks. How about we do that? And we'll have a look at the temperature anomaly. So coolest again in the west northwest. Looks like it's reverting. Let's just say half April towards May. Looks like it's reverting back to the pattern we've had throughout the year, which is cooler to the west and the northwest, and a little bit milder to the south and to the east. So milder through there, cooler through there. However, that might just be the model, reverting back to pattern that it's been having all through, but we've had throughout winter and into the spring. It might be referring back to its default. And lastly, precipitation, very weak signals, nothing useful to glean from that. So again, let's put in a question mark, and I think we should wrap things up there. Okay, so we've got a pretty clear signal for the rest of March and the first half of April to be getting progressively cooler or colder. Looks like it will be a cold start to April, coast to coast across most parts of America. Middle of April onwards, it starts getting a little bit mysterious. Cold air looks like it retreats back to the west and northwest, where it's been a winter, as it gets a bit milder in the south and the east. But again, that's a long way off. The signals are quite weak with that. So I think wait and see where things go in the second half of April after cold first half to the month. Right, okay, so that's it for your safe broadcast this week. Do it all over again next Wednesday. Remember, any forecast beyond 5-7 days comes with big health warnings and large pitches of salt attached to them. And yeah, so take it with a pinch of salt. We're going to be back shortly looking at the extended range for the UK and for Ireland, looking at the GMA season model for the next 3 months, April, May and June. And they'll be live streaming our 10 to 14 day at 6 p.m. this evening. If you're in America watching this video, you're around 6 p.m. UK time. I don't know what time that would be in the States, but if you're around anyway at 6 p.m. UK time, GMT, then check into the live stream, and we'd love to see you from the States. Okay, we're back later on then with the rest of our content for this video, though. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.